We're all trying to make things better, right? Our lives, our work, our world. But what if I told you we consistently overlook one of the most powerful tools we have for improvement, all because of a hidden mental shortcut? It's time to talk about the untapped power of taking away.
So let me ask you something directly. When you need to improve something, anything, what's your gut reaction? What's that very first idea that just pops into your head? Think about it for a second.
If you're like pretty much everyone else, you probably thought of adding something. Our default mode is just to pile on more. More features, more rules, more stuff. It's our brain's go-to move. But what we almost always overlook is the elegant power of the alternative, subtraction. The art of removing obstacles, simplifying, and just creating space.
Okay, to really see just how transformative this can be, let's look at an incredible real-world story from San Francisco.
So for decades, you had this double-decker concrete highway, the Embarcadero Freeway, that just sliced right through the city. It was a beast. Yeah, it served a ton of cars, but it was also like this massive concrete wall, completely cutting the city off from its own beautiful waterfront.
And the idea of getting rid of it? Oh, no way. That was practically heresy. Voters actually shot it down by a 2-to-1 margin. Even really influential voices, like the Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Herb Caen, called tearing it down an even worse idea than building it. That's how strong the bias to not take away was.
But then, in 1989, nature kind of forced their hand. The Loma Prieta earthquake hit and just catastrophically damaged the freeway, making it totally unusable. And all of a sudden, the city was at this huge crossroads. Spend a fortune to repair it? Or, for the first time, really, truly consider subtraction.
They chose to subtract. And the result? It was nothing short of transformational. In the decade that followed, San Francisco finally got its waterfront back, and housing in that revitalized area just skyrocketed by 50%. But that's not even all of it. Jobs in the area jumped by 15%, way outpacing the rest of the city. And that traffic apocalypse everyone was so afraid of, it just never happened. By taking away this concrete monster, San Francisco gained a thriving community.
Now, this San Francisco story is about so much more than a freeway. It pulls back the curtain on this hidden bias that affects every single one of us, every single day. Our default is always to add.
To see this bias in action, researchers ran this really clever little experiment using something we all know and love, Legos. They gave people a simple, kind of unstable Lego structure.
And the task was just incredibly simple. Make the structure better. That's it. But here's the little twist. They could add new blocks for free, but if they wanted to remove an existing block, it would cost them a tiny bit.
The results were, well, they were just staggering. The overwhelming majority of people, almost 90%, chose to add more blocks. Almost no one even considered subtracting, even though taking away just one piece was the simplest and best solution.
And once you see this pattern, you see it everywhere. I mean, just ask yourself, do your New Year's resolutions usually start with do more instead of do less? In your job, do you add new rules and processes more often than you take old ones away? Are you busier today than you were 3 years ago? We are all caught in this additive cycle. So why? Why is our knee-jerk reaction always to just pile on more? Well, it turns out there are some really powerful, deep-seated forces pushing us in this direction. Researchers point to 3 big ones. It starts with our biology. We're wired to acquire things, and we show that we're competent by adding stuff. It leaves visible proof of our work. Then, that's amplified by our culture, where, civilization has always been a project of enlargement and growth. And the whole thing is reinforced by our modern economy, which is built on metrics like GDP that only measure what we add, never what we wisely take away.
But what happens when we consciously fight this bias? This is where it gets exciting. Let's reframe subtraction, not as loss, but as one of the purest forms of innovation. Just think about a simple object, a child's bike. For nearly a century, how did we try to improve it?
Well, the answer was always to add. We added training wheels. Then we added more speeds, handbrakes, fatter tires, shock absorbers.
We just kept piling on more and more features.
Then, an innovator named Ryan McFarland looked at all this complexity, the pedals, the chain, the cranks, and asked this revolutionary, subtractive question: could I just take it away? By removing the pedals, he created the balance bike, which brilliantly teaches the hardest part of riding, balance, first. It completely upended how kids learn to ride.
And this isn't just about products. Think about one of the most emotionally powerful monuments in the world, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Its designer, Maya Lin, didn't add a grand statue onto the landscape. Her vision was fundamentally subtractive. As she so brilliantly put it, her design is a cut in the earth. Its immense power comes from what was taken away.
So how do we make this a real part of our own thinking? How do we move from just knowing this is a cool idea to actually applying it, to building our own legacy of less?
I think this is the key takeaway. Subtraction isn't about absence, it's a creative act. It's the art of carving away everything that's not essential to reveal something way more powerful and focused underneath.
You know, when we train our minds to see what isn't there, to consider subtraction as a first choice instead of a last resort, we don't just solve our problems more effectively, we actually start to find better, more meaningful problems to solve in the first place.
This is such a timeless idea. The philosopher Lao Tzu said it perfectly over 2,000 years ago. To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, subtract things every day. Our challenge then isn't just to add more knowledge, it's to pursue the profound wisdom of less. So what is one thing you can subtract today?